Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome to the program on your Thursday afternoon. Boy, I tell you what, it just, you just sit there and you wonder, like when we were going through all of the primaries and all of that stuff, you just kind of wonder, like, hey, what are we going to talk about when the primaries are over? Oh, ye of little faith. We've got so much to talk about. The news just never stops these days. It really doesn't. We have heard now, what we heard earlier, that there was going to be a huge bombing run over in Iran tonight. President Trump, Pete Hegseth, saying we were going to hit Iran extremely hard this evening. And then this afternoon at 1:28 p.m., we got this from Truth Social from President Donald Trump. It says, based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved, I have, as President of the United States of America, canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. Discussions and final points have been in both concept and great detail approved by both parties involved, including the United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, and others. The naval blockade will remain in full force and effect until this transaction is finalized. Time and place of the signing to be announced shortly. President Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. So, with that news, price of oil right now bouncing around $80, $87 and about between 60 and 70 cents right now. That's definitely going down from where it was. I'm going to check on the NASDAQ because apparently the stocks took a little bit of a bump today as well on this news that we might have a deal with Iran. But hold on. There's more. Because just like every time we seem to have an announcement of some kind of a deal, there's somebody else out there that says, no, there's not. There is no deal. Amit Segal is reporting that Iran is denying the existence of an agreement, and Israel says no such agreement exists. So what is the absolute truth? That's been the hardest thing. That's been the hardest thing, and especially when you're dealing with people that are coming out of the Middle East, and then you got Israel. They're not going to be happy until we go in there and we put boots on the ground. They're not going to be happy until we go in and take Karg Island. In fact, Senator Lindsey Graham expressed his support for President Trump's threat today to seize Karg Island. President Trump's announcement today that it may be time to take Karg Island is welcome news and would be the ultimate game changer, he said on his social media post. I think his X handle is Little Mermaid Bubble Wand. I'm not sure, but I think it is. I'm not sure. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about that. You can find Lindsey Graham. His email is lindsey@littlemermaidbubblewand.com. So check him out there. The island is critical to resources for Iran as it holds about 90% of the country's crude oil exports. And then, of course, we found out what it was yesterday, that we've been bootlegging. Did y'all know that? Our government's been bootlegging oil through the Hormuz Strait for a while now. In fact, like 100 million barrels of oil we've taken out of that thing. So, again, we don't know if this agreement exists. We know what the president says, but somebody says Trump has lost his mind. In what way? Explain yourself, 729. In what way has President Trump lost his mind? Let me know. I mean, we know your thesis. Now I'll prove it. Charlie, who do you think was at the Pentagon that ate Taco Bell? I have no idea. If I were at the Pentagon, it would probably be me. I'd be the one. Yeah, give me that Crunchwrap Supreme. I'll be a happy fella. Charlie, do we know when early voting will be? Yes, we do know when early voting for the runoff elections are going to be. They're going to be the 17th and 18th. That's the 17th and 18th will be early voting for the runoff election. We've got several races that you need to be aware of, definitely with this. So let me just bring these up for you, because we know that it's going to be Pamela Vett and Alan Wilson. For Attorney General, it'll be Stephen Goldfinch and David Stumbo. By the way, lots of people jumping on the Stumbo bandwagon right now. Commissioner of Agriculture, Danny Ford versus Cody Simpson. And if you are in County Council District 17, you've got Joe Dill and Travis Forrester. And I do believe that we've got another one out there as well. I'm just, hold on. Let me get this. Because in fact, I know there's another runoff election coming up. Let me Sherry Hodges, District 8. That will also be a runoff. So you guys out there, District 8, please get out there and vote for Sherry Hodges. And you guys vote for Joe Dill. I just think the world of the guy. So that's going to be happening again. Early voting going to be the 17th and the 18th. That's a Wednesday and a Thursday. Early voting is 8:30 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Get out there and vote, and let's go ahead and get these primaries over with and get on with the general election. That's going to be extremely interesting to see how that goes. I don't think any of the, I don't think the governor's race, I don't think that's even going to be very close. Republicans to Democrats, same with Attorney General. I don't even know if the Democrats are running anybody. Agriculture, no. So, again, we're not out of the woods as far as these elections are concerned yet. But one of the big key issues that we do have to worry about is going to be those primary elections. Not the primary elections, the general elections, the midterm elections. We got to make sure that Republicans win those things so that we can keep control, that whatever little slight control of the House we have, and keep control of the Senate. Now, I know what you're asking. Who cares? Senate's not doing anything anyway. Oh, I understand that. I get it. I do. But maybe, and I know this is a big maybe, and it's a big, might be pie in the sky thinking and all of that, but maybe after the election, after the midterm election, maybe some senators will actually grow a spine. Do you think that could happen? Well, me neither, but miracles do take place now and then. All right, WRD, Charlie, Lawrence County Council also in a runoff. There you go, District 2. Charlie, Lindsey Graham is totally fine with putting bullet holes in our soldiers, just like the J6ers. Yes, you're exactly right. Charlie, who starts a fight and then wants to talk? He can't be honest with his constituents. Who starts a fight and then wants to talk? Let me tell you who does that. Let me tell you who does that. 729. People with good common sense. People with good common sense do that. That's who does that. Everybody does that. Everybody. You don't think all during World War II we were trying to talk to the Japanese? We were trying to talk to the Germans? You don't think, hey, you got to use that diplomacy. Who starts a fight and then wants to talk? Everybody. Let me tell you, and I tell you another thing. Everybody that's ever been in a fight. That's the way it just goes. I don't know what kind of thinking you got. Let's see, Charlie, you're about a smart ass wagon when someone doesn't lie to you. I voted for him 3 times. I didn't vote for this nonsense. Neither did you. You know what I didn't vote for? I didn't vote for a forever war, 729, which is what he ran on. So maybe you ought to take a look in the mirror. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming, stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9
98.9
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Somebody needs to write a book, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing it on the metamorphosis of the folks on the left. If you just went back, let's say 25 years, that's really all it would take. And you look at those Democrats from 25, maybe 30 years ago, you could sit, here's the thing, you could talk with those people. You could sit down, you might not agree with them, but you could sit down and have a chat with them. The folks on the left have gone so far left. It's unbelievable. Used to be, if you had the word communist or socialist anywhere in your biography, in your bio, that was an automatic done. You're no office, no nothing. Go live your life, do whatever you're going to do, but you're not going to hold public office. But then we get somebody like Bernie Sanders in there. And people are like, well, it's just crazy old Bernie. Yeah, we know he's a socialist. We'll overlook that. But then we get AOC. Well, she's harmless. And this is really how people think. Oh, she's harmless. Then we get Ayanna Pressley and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. We get the squad in there. And people are like, yeah, but that's... And then 25 years after 9/11, in New York City, they elect Zohran Mamdani, a radical Islamist. Let that sink in for just a second. And then maybe you were thinking, well, that's probably as bad as the left is going to get. They can't go any more left than that. And then what do? They actually elect as their senatorial candidate from Maine a man who for decades walked around with a Totenkopf tattoo on his chest. A man who says he is a socialist. A man who prays. The list goes on and on and on. Absolutely on and on and on. This is a guy who criticized heroic American soldiers. This is a guy who criticized the American sniper. This is a guy that said, you know what, Hezbollah, they got good tactics. The transition of the left to the radical left has been unbelievable. It really has. And now with so here's a guy, because remember the left was all about Me Too, hashtag Me Too, or as some people say, pound Me Too. They were all about that with Harvey Weinstein and everybody, ooh, Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. They were all about believe the women. They didn't believe Tara Reid when she accused Joe Biden of sexual assault. They believe none of Bill Clinton's accusers. None of them. But now you've got Graham Plattner. Listen to this. This is a woman named Jodi Kantor. She's over on CNN. Listen to what she says.
Well, let's talk about what they may or may not be willing to overlook. The accusations against Graham Plattner are not classic Me Too accusations.
Oh.
They're not about a boss and a young female employee being subjected to sexual advances.
Right.
They were mostly made in the context of consensual relationships. There are these very sensational texts about sex. There are allegations from former girlfriends that are not, the way my colleagues reported them, were not like classic abuse allegations. They were mostly like being his boyfriend gave me a view into him and I did not like what I saw. His character was scary. He had this Nazi tattoo, etc. There was one allegation of crossing a line physically, but I think that means that these are pretty different accusations than, say, the ones that President Trump faced. And of course, in the Access Hollywood tape, President Trump.
Oh, shut up! Talking about Billy Bush weekend. See, the hypocrisy of the people on the left is it knows no depth. that they are willing to go to protect their own. They're willing to overlook all of that. I mean, all of it. All of it. They tried to say that Pete Hegseth was a womanizing drunk. Tried to say that Kash Patel was a drunkard. We've got video of Graham Plattner in big stages of intoxication, dancing around half naked at a party. Nothing to see here. No, that's okay. This guy's an oyster farmer. He's an oyster farmer from Maine. Do you know how successful Graham Plattner was at being an oyster farmer? Do you know how much money Graham Plattner made oyster farming? Are you ready for this? $5,000. A whopping $5,000. Now, this guy wasn't somebody that just sprang out of nowhere. He was actually recruited for this spot. He was groomed for this role. This is a guy that said, oh, and what about all of the things that he said? What about, hey, if you're a woman and you get date raped, that's kind of on you. Women are this is what's wrong with America. The affluent white female urban liberal, the awfuls, liberal women are willing to overlook these things because of the party of the person that is committing them. Let's go to Mark in Taylor's. How you doing, Mark?
I'm just sitting here laughing at the traffic light, Charlie. I just came from Senior Action, and I was sitting with a nice new gentleman there, and we were talking about President Trump, and he just came out and said, I said, sir, we were in a political and spiritual war in this country. He said, I agree totally with you. And then he started, I said, President Trump's done all these things. And then, oh, my God, the expression on his face, he just turned on me. And I said, sir, can't we talk? Can't we have a little correspondence here? Talk with me, please. I want to hear your side. Oh, he got up and left as far as he can.
Exactly.
I said, see, sir, you're a prime example. You people don't want to talk. And I said, as far as I'm concerned, you're on the evil side, sir. And I said, I'm an outspoken, proud patriot, and I'm not part of the silent majority anymore.
Yeah.
I'm part of the loud majority, sir. And I made it known inside Senior Action. So,
there you go.
Probably,
well, good for you.
Get complaints against me.
Oh, well, that's okay, Mark. Hey, listen, if you're going to be a proud, outspoken conservative, somebody's definitely going to complain. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. But getting back to the point, I mean, the Democrats are willing to go so far to the left. Because why? Ultimately, in their hearts, they hate this country. They want to see its downfall. And they don't care how they bring it about. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of nonstop breaking news and stimulating talk kicks off every hour.
On the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas. text, or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Crude oil is down to $86. In fact, no, $85.99 right now, as President Trump announced a deal with Iran. Also, other breaking news, David Pascoe, who was the former Democrat, running for Attorney General as a Republican, got beat in the election the other night. There's going to be a runoff between Stephen Goldfinch and David Stumbo. David Pascoe has just endorsed David Stumbo for Attorney General, saying that he is the only real prosecutor and conservative left in the Attorney General's race. He says, I urge my supporters to do the same. Our state cannot afford for you to sit out on the upcoming election. So David Pascoe endorsing David Stumbo for the Attorney General spot. That's interesting news. Everybody's wanting to know right now, who will Ralph Norman endorse in this race? That's going to be a big question. Because right now, it doesn't really look like he's going to endorse anybody. But everybody wants that. We'll talk about that coming up in just a minute. We got the midterms coming up. We're going to have to see what happens in the House, certainly what happens in the Senate. And we have to just hope that in some way, it's already, and here's what I always thought the plan was about the Save America Act. Okay, but let's just not do it now. Yeah, let's not do it this election. Because I honestly believe, and I hate to say this, but I honestly believe that we've got Republicans in Washington, D.C. who really don't want to be in the majority. That's a lot of work to be in the majority. You got to write these bills. You got to go to all these conferences. You got to do all. It's just work, man. When you're in the minority, you just kind of, especially if you're a Republican, and we've seen this historically, you just show up. Show up, get your check, go home, go back to your district every, couple of weeks, and don't really do anything. Because we know they don't fight. The Republicans in Washington, they don't fight when they are in power, and they don't fight when they're not in power. That is completely opposite of what the Democrats do. When the Democrats are in power, they fight. When the Democrats aren't in power, they fight harder. Man, I wish we could have some really good, solid Republicans, conservatives. I'll say conservatives because I don't know if you can even label a lot of the Republican Party these days as conservative. But now, the Save America Act, we know we're not going to get it before the midterms. But it did reach a milestone during a late-night voter-rama to advance the GOP's $70 billion immigration enforcement package. This is from Zero Hedge. Susan Collins apparently switched her vote. Switched it. That means the only thing preventing it from becoming law is the 60-vote threshold in the Senate. That is the filibuster. So now John Thune has no reason. He's got no excuses when he says, we don't have the votes. Because hey, come here, get close. Let me tell you something. Susan Collins, for the first time in a long time, is thinking she's going to lose this race. Susan Collins could lose the race to a Nazi. Think about that. And Susan Collins could lose this race to a Nazi, socialist, Hezbollah sympathizer who abuses women. Now, how would you feel if you were Susan Collins and that happened? So maybe she's pulling a little Lindsey Graham here. Maybe it's time to start acting like a big conservative. The legislation, formerly titled the Safeguarding America Voter Eligibility Act, would require proof of citizenship and voter registration and a valid photo ID to cast the ballots in federal elections. It cleared the House months ago and has just sat in the Senate ever since. It's been caught between the Republican majority that supports it and a 60-vote cloture threshold that has become the ceiling. The path to 50 came through Senator Mike Lee's amendment, which used the bill's original unmodified form as passed by the House, an earlier attempt by Senator Lindsey Graham to attach a modified version of that, including additional provisions like barring men from competing in women's sports. That fell short when 4 Republicans defected: Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitch McConnell, and Tom Tillis. All voted against it. All of them voted against the Graham version, which makes me wonder, did Lindsey Graham put those things in this bill just so Susan Collins and Murkowski would vote against them? Well, maybe so. Maybe so. So now's the time for John Thune to actually get out there and do away with the filibuster. And when we do get this new Senate coming in January, Thune needs to go. He should have been gone a long time ago. All it takes is 5 senators to recommend his removal, and then they vote on it. That's what should have happened. Because there's been no bigger blockage, like an intestinal blockage, in our Senate than John Thune. He's the one. Now, he says he didn't have the votes, and I told him, look, here I am, talk show host, Greenville, South Carolina. I can tell you how to get those votes. You go to Susan Collins, you go to Murkowski. It wouldn't matter with McConnell or Tillis, because they're out of there. This is their last terms. But at least you could have got to Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski by saying, listen, if you don't go along with this, I'm pulling all of your committee assignments. That means they don't get as much money because they get paid for that. So, yeah, pull those things. That's what a leader does. You go in, you find the weak link, you find a way to take care of the weak link. And John Thune has done none of that. So maybe, just maybe, we could get a Save America Act. Maybe. I'm not promising anything. I'm not saying this is actually going to happen. But for the first time in a long time, when Susan Collins changed her vote, we actually see a little glimmer, just one little ray of sunshine as far as this thing may be passing. John said, don't hold your breath. I agree. Don't hold your breath on it. Because, again, they don't want it. But Susan Collins could be losing that race. She might all of a sudden have some sort of a come to Jesus meeting and decide that she's going to be a conservative. Now, again, I don't think that's going to happen, but we will see what happens. All right, we've got a runoff for governor here in South Carolina between Alan Wilson and Pamela Avett. We got some poll numbers on this one that are kind of interesting. I'll tell you about them coming up. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is Lee Rogers. Be the first to break the news. Share your story at news@989WORD.com.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, I am doing a poll. I'm typing it in right now. Who are you voting for in the governor's race? If I can spell governor, I'll get that in just a second when I can concentrate. So this poll will be coming up in just a few minutes, because right now we got the runoff election between Alan Wilson and Pamela Avett. Now, this is it's kind of interesting because there was actually a poll done before the primary. As an organization called Opinion Diagnostics, they took a poll between June 1st and June 2nd of this year. And I know that was before the primary, but they put the question out, if it came to a runoff between Pamela Avett and Alan Wilson, who would you pick? 48% of people said Alan Wilson, 29% said Pamela Avett. Now, I am not sure, when did Donald Trump endorse Pamela Avett? When did that happen? What date? I don't know if it was around that time, though. But did this endorsement really help her all that much? Well, that I don't know. The remaining 22.4% of those respondents were unsure of their choice. This is from Fitz News. Since the survey was taken, Alan Wilson has received endorsements from two former candidates, State Senator Josh Kimbrell and 1st District Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who got 12.2% of the vote. So you've got Alan Wilson picking up endorsements from Josh Kimbrell and Nancy Mace. Ron Reddy has said he's not going to endorse anybody in this race. It does not look like Ralph Norman is going to be endorsing anybody in this race. So I'm going to be putting up a poll coming up here in just a second. And coming up at 4:06, I'm actually going to be talking with Attorney General Alan Wilson about this race, about the runoff. Maybe we can answer some questions for you and see what goes on with that. But this is going to be a very interesting thing here. Also coming up, there is a risk that Pam Avett, because right now she seems to be relying so heavily on that endorsement, it seems to have, as one Columbia pollster, I think it's actually a D.C. pollster, said she is in danger of becoming a one-trick pony. Because it seems like that's all she talked about when she did her, I don't want to call it an acceptance speech, but a speech after the race the other night, Tuesday night. She mentioned Donald Trump several times, had talked about how she had just gotten off the phone with him. It's going to be very interesting to see if South Carolina gets a visit from the President of the United States, because you got two things here. He's endorsed Pamela Avett, and he's endorsed Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, I mean, you got to admit, Mark Lynch coming in at almost 30% of the vote. I think it was like 28.2% of the vote. That was a pretty darn good showing. Mark Lynch won Spartanburg County. Mark Lynch won Greenville County. Granted, those were the only two counties that he won, but that was a pretty darn good showing for this guy. Now Lindsey's got to go up against Dr. Annie Andrews. And I bet you every political consultant that was watching those races the other night was kind of shocked at the amount of Democrats that showed up to vote in that election. That's going to be very interesting to watch. So let me just see here real quick, because, I mean, this is telling. Let me see here. Doggone it. Let's go to election results. We'll go to this past one, the statewide primaries. When you go down and you look here, trying to find. So you've got I'll get it in just a second, I promise you. Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham got what did he get? 264,000 votes. Total Republicans, so-called, voting in that election, 465,076. Annie Andrews has actually polled Lindsey Graham, in the last poll that I saw, actually led Dr. Annie Andrews in single digits. Single digits. So Lindsey's going to have to spend some money over the next 2 weeks to try to shore up that vote coming up on early voting. Well, not early voting, but coming up before the primaries, and that's a lot longer than that. But Democrats they seem to be enthusiastic this year here in South Carolina. That's what it seemed like. Let's go to Jeff from Easley and talk to him. Jeff, welcome.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. What's up?
What time are you talking to Alan Wilson?
At 4:06.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, bring up this illegal crap to him in our state, because he's promised Terry he's going to do something, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, they just had a huge bust, man. I mean, so he's obviously going to be taking some credit for that with ICE and some of the raids they've done. But you know what? I will absolutely ask him about illegal immigration here in South Carolina, because it is a huge, huge problem. We got affordability. Look what could happen if we had a governor that was actually active. When gas prices were so high, still are, but when they reached their peak, our governor should have taken to the bully pulpit, should have come on this show, should have been everywhere saying we need to suspend the gas tax here in South Carolina. They got the money. They got plenty of money. For such a poor state, they've got money in Columbia, and they could have done that, but they chose not to. So that's the main thing that I was looking for. Who's going to actually get out there and vote and fight against these rhinos and use the power of the pen with the vetoes to fight bad legislation? Attorney General Alan Wilson will be on with us coming up next. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Tara, Bill, Charlie, Joey, and me, Mike Gallagher. We lead the conversation each and every day on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
Yes, sir. And we are back, and we are being joined by Attorney General Alan Wilson, who is running for governor of South Carolina. Attorney General Wilson, welcome to the program. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Charlie, it's great to be back with you, man. Thanks for having me on your program. I hope you're having a great day.
Absolutely. Well, I just got a little bit of a chuckle because this guy, Chris Grant, down in the Low Country, just posted a picture of you. You and Mike Rickenbaugh, it's obviously AI, at a trans pride rally. Have you seen that picture?
I have seen the picture, the subtly racist photo. Yes, I've seen it.
Yes. I mean, is that the timber of this race so far? Has it been dirty all the way through?
Look, they're gonna throw everything at me. They're claiming all these horrible things about me. They're saying I'm liberal and I'm woke. Everyone on your show who listens is too smart to fall for it. At the end of the day, this campaign, they're going to make this campaign about tearing me down. I'm going to make this campaign about building you up. And by you, I mean the people of South Carolina. My number one goal and everything I want to do as governor is to make living in our state more affordable for our families, to make our economy more profitable for our business, and to make government more accountable to the people. And Charlie, that's the message I'm taking around South Carolina. Look, yeah, they're going to hit us. And the reason that they're attacking and the reason they're going so low is they're seeing the same numbers that I'm seeing. And that's why they're going to get dirty, and it's going to get really deep over the next 10 days. So I'm bracing for it. But at the end of the day, this is about the people of South Carolina, not Alan Wilson or Pam Yvette.
You just talked about making South Carolina more affordable at the height of the gas prices just weeks ago. It seems like there was a plan, or some people were suggesting that we do away with the gas tax in South Carolina. Would you have been in favor of that?
I was the first candidate for governor to call for the suspension of the gas tax, and I would even consider having a trigger. Now, obviously, we have to continue to fund construction and road transportation and things like that, but we have $1.5 billion in the reserve fund, and my view is when families are hurting, give them some relief, as much relief as you can. And I think one of the things you can do is suspend the gas tax to make it a little bit better for them to come and go from their house to their office to their child's soccer game, and to even travel. Obviously, a permanent gas tax would require a lot more thought, but giving people 60 to 90 days is something I would be willing to do, and I called for that about 2 months ago.
So, I mean, it is, and it's affected everybody here in South Carolina. I also had a caller or a texter wanting to know about immigration. There was a massive employment fraud ring using stolen identities. Tell us a little bit about that. How were you involved in that?
Well, we led it. We led the sting about a year and a half ago because of the prior policies of the Biden administration. Obviously, it wasn't a priority to go after these types of cases. So we had some folks at in local law enforcement come to us and say, we'd like to get your help. So we started doing an investigation a year ago this fall. And we basically identified that what some people were doing is they were taking stolen identities from South Carolina and U.S. citizens, and they were using those stolen identities to make fake documentation like Social Security cards, driver's license, whatnot, for illegal aliens. And so we began to investigate this fraudulent ID document ring, and it kind of, the investigation got a little bit wider, so we brought in ICE and Homeland Security and with local law enforcement, and we did a raid on the people who were manufacturing these fake documents using stolen identities, and we found 48 illegal aliens. And, of course, they were all rounded up. And this happened a week ago Thursday in a private sting. And, of course, we had a press conference. And so that's what my team has been working on, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
So you were able to do that as Attorney General. What would you be able to do as governor as far as illegal immigration is concerned?
Well, first off, all state law enforcement is going to be working with the federal government, especially when we have an administration that has prioritized, securing our borders and promoting legal immigration in South Carolina and this country. And so we're going to require local law enforcement to support those federal efforts, either through the 287G program or through whatever state authority is available to the governor. I'm also going to travel the state to encourage law enforcement, local law enforcement, municipal law enforcement, to support the 287G program, which is a federal law named after Code Section 287G of the INA that would allow local law enforcement to be deputized to perform basic immigration enforcement measures here in South Carolina. It kind of makes them deputized ICE agents. They have to work with ICE under federal purview, but it gives us the ability to be a force multiplier for enforcing federal laws, and that's what we're going to do in South Carolina when I'm governor.
Yeah, and so let's talk about other things. I mean, you got to admit, over the past, 10 years now, we haven't heard very much from our governor. Would you be a more vocal governor, much more in the vein of somebody like Ron DeSantis?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, the office of the governor is an office that you can treat it several different ways. Governor McMaster is a man that loves his state. He's an honorable man, and he has a very different leadership style than me, and my leadership style is very different than his. His position is to let the General Assembly work things out, and then they send him bills, and he signs the good ones, and he would obviously veto the bad ones. But my view is the governor's office has got to be more than just signing things. It has to be leading from the front, advocating for policies and laws that benefit the people of South Carolina, and that's more than just signing bills. So, yes, the governor, that's the old job.
Yeah.
The next job would require me to build coalitions, working with the Freedom Caucus, with the at-large Republican caucus. I got friends in both. And when possible, bring in some conservative Democrats on some of these issues. You can find them here and there on issues. Build coalitions to get the best laws passed that benefit the most number of people in South Carolina. And I would be very proactive in that regard.
The last time I saw you, you were at the Freedom and Farm Fest. My wife and I were there, and you said something. You said it to the crowd as well, but you said, if I'm not your first choice, can I be your second? What would you say to the people that didn't vote for Alan Wilson in the first go-round? Why should they vote for you in the runoff?
Well, this is what I would say to the people out there who supported Nancy Mace because you believed her to be a maverick who was a disruptor of government. You have a home with us. To those of you who voted for Ralph Norman because you viewed him as a conservative juggernaut who challenged the establishment, you have a home with me. For those of you who supported Ron Reddy, he was the plain-spoken outsider with a message of reform in our government. You have a home with me. For those of you who supported Josh Kimbrell, a state senator and former radio talk show host who was incredibly articulate in advocating for conservative values from within the state government, you have a home with me. Every single candidate that is running this race that is no longer in the race for governor, you have a home here. I've been able to build bridges with candidates who are former opponents, maybe former enemies, and to build coalitions. And as governor, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to I can take our conservative agenda and I can make it as broadly appealable to all South Carolinians. We're going to govern from a conservative point of view. We're going to promote South Carolina values. And Charlie, every single thing I'm going to do is going to be focused on making life better for South Carolina citizens. I want you guys to have more money in your pockets so that you can better provide for your families and live out your dreams.
I guess as an example of your coalition building, Nancy Mace endorsed you. You guys were going hot and heavy there at the beginning of the race, and she even threw her hat in your ring. So that's certainly that was a pretty good feat.
Well, look, absolutely. And look, everyone who's followed Nancy, you know, and me for that matter, there were some pretty mean things being said. But look, to Nancy's credit, I reached out to her. We had conversations. I was able to talk to her about, you know, her perceptions of what I was doing. She was open-minded to it, and we were able to go from being hostile enemies to friendly competitors to now allies. And look, when you elect a governor, you want someone who can do things that couldn't be thought of. Who would have thought 8 months ago Nancy Mace would be endorsing Alan Wilson?
Or in the same room.
Look at what in the same room, more or less endorsing, and now we're working together. There's something to be said for that. And if I can do that with that relationship, imagine what I could do with the legislature and advancing, you know, bills and laws that would benefit your family. That's what I offer to you, the people of South Carolina.
All right, I know you got to go. I appreciate you taking the time to call us this afternoon. Attorney General Alan Wilson running for governor of South Carolina. Always a pleasure, sir. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Take care. All right, I've got the poll up. It is ready to go now. Who do you want to be to win the runoff election between Pamela Vett and Alan Wilson? If you want Pamela Vett, all you got to do is text the word Pam. Pam. If you want Alan Wilson, text the word Wilson to 800-9050-989. That's Pam or Alan. Who would you like to be the next governor of South Carolina, or at least the Republican nominee? It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Total consciousness for the afternoon swoon. You've tapped into the Charlie James Show.
The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas. Type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Don't forget, we've got the poll up for the governor's runoff. Who would you like to see win the runoff? Would you like to see Alan Wilson or Pamela Vett? If you would like to see Alan Wilson, text Alan to 800-905-0989. Or if you would like to see Pamela Vett, text Pam to the same number. That's 800-905-0989. Let's just go take a look and see how things are standing right now in that poll. 95% as of this moment want Alan Wilson to win this race, so we will see what happens. Don't forget, that is going to be on the, I thought I just wrote it down. I did. The runoff election is going to be on the 23rd. Early voting is going to be on the 16th and the 18th. I'm sorry, on the 17th and the 18th. So runoff election going to be on the 23rd. Early voting on the 17th and 18th. So make sure you get out there and vote in the runoff. If you did not vote in the primary, you can still vote in the runoff. Okay? Just remember that. All right. WRD Talk Line, 800-905-0989. It's amazed me, this whole Carmelo Anthony thing. How many people are out there actually defending Carmelo Anthony right now? When you go back and you look at Daniel Penny, do you remember Daniel Penny? He's the guy who was on the New York subway. This crazed psycho guy was harassing and threatening people on the subway. Obviously, this guy, was nuts. So Daniel Penny grabbed the guy, subdued him to keep him from hurting anybody, and the guy died. Well, he was obviously a murderer, right? Because the man was black. Obviously, this was Daniel Penny. This was more, vigilante justice going on. I mean, Daniel Penny needed to go to jail, and needed to go to jail for a long time. Well, here you've got Carmelo Anthony, who literally just committed cold-blooded murder in the killing of Austin Metcalf. I just saw a video of this one guy saying that all African Americans, all the black people in the United States, they should go back to Africa and rebuild their country. I don't think that's going to work out for you. John just said, all right, which one? Which country? There's some 50 countries in Africa. Yeah, exactly. Which one? So, but I want you to listen. This is Jasmine Crockett. Listen to what this woman says. This is crazy.
35 years for a kid who had decided to go under a tent that was not his team's tent as it was raining, and simply didn't want to be put out in the rain by some random kid that he didn't know who was larger than him. Listen, a lot of people don't know what it is to live as a black person in this country, but just like you can give the benefit of the doubt to so many police officers when they go out and they shoot some black unarmed person, even though they are trained, the fact that there was little to no mercy seen or humanity seen when this black boy said that I was scared. 35.
There you go. Defending. Let's go to Brian. He's out on I-85. Brian, how you doing?
Doing great today, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What's up, man?
I'm listening, to the polls you got running right now, which I did vote in, and
Okay.
But I'm curious about our education system, being the WORD education system that is, highly effective here in the upstate.
Yeah.
I'm terribly concerned with our brothers and sisters down, say, below Columbia, Lawrence area.
Yeah.
It's just not getting the education that we are. Is there hope for affiliates of WORD to ever be down that way?
I'm going to tell you something, right? I haven't heard anybody, in corporate or anything talk like that. I wish they would, because there is space available down in the Low Country. I mean, they got some stations down there that you could certainly put us on. I would love to see that happen, and I will guarantee you that would change the face of politics in this state if we could do that. They've gotten rid of if you go to, when you get to Columbia, you've only got one local show in Columbia on the big station, Kevin Cohen, he's got his thing going on. He's got some local hosts there. You get down to the Low Country, there is literally nobody local down there talking to anybody. Corey Allen's got his online presence, but over the air, there's nobody, like you said, from the Midlands down.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't want to brag or nothing, but I got about $8 that I could put towards helping getting towers and stuff put up.
Well, I tell you what, I'll put I think I got $8 my own self. We'll see. I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you. Going to take a quick break and be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is Mark Levin. Join me tonight at 7 following Charlie James for the Mark Levin Show, a News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Dennis in Spartanburg. How you doing, Dennis?
All right. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you, I actually voted for Alan Wilson in the primary, and for one reason, his record. The man has a record, 15 years of going after the Obama administration and the Biden administration. People don't remember that he was actually our attorney general during the Obama administration, and I believe he sued them over 24 times. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he won like every single case. I could be wrong on that, but I know the majority. But you know, people talk about we want a Ron DeSantis, and I absolutely love Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
We could possibly have that, and I just hope we don't screw it up.
Yeah, well, there you go. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. So if you would like Alan Wilson to be the next nominee for the Republicans for governor, text Alan to 800-9050-989. If you would like Pamela Vett, text Pam to the same number. That's 800-9050-989. Let's take a little look at the poll here real quick and see if we can give you an update for the governor's runoff race. According to our poll, Alan Wilson is leading the WRD unofficial Charlie James poll 95-5 over Pamela Vett. 95-5. So if you would like to participate in that poll, text Alan if you want Alan Wilson, text Pam if you want Pamela Vett for that. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. The poll is going to be up until about 7 o'clock tonight, and I'll give you the final results in the last break of the show. But Pamela Vett's got an interesting thing now, because over on Fitz News, a pretty interesting article that was written by Mark Powell. He says, want to play a fun game? For the next 12 days, count how many times South Carolina's Lieutenant Governor Pamela Vett says the name Trump in her speeches and commercials. You'll need a NASA calculator to keep track of a number that big. Henry McMaster's number 2, who wants the top job herself, has made the president a perpetual presence in her campaign from the moment she entered the contest for the GOP nomination. She brings him up so often, one political operative said, I'm surprised she hasn't legally changed her name to Pamela I'm Trump's gal Vett. That would save her a lot of time on the stump. After securing his coveted endorsement in the run-up to Tuesday's primary election, Vett has played the Trump card relentlessly ever since. And what people are worried about is, one D.C. pollster says that she's at risk of becoming a one-trick pony. I said, by now, her Trump endorsement has reached saturation among GOP voters. If she keeps on repeating it ad infinitum, as she's done in the past 2 weeks, she runs the real risk of turning off the very people whose votes she needs now more than ever. Because at this point, Vett is in danger of her message becoming President Trump, blah, 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 President Trump, blah, blah, blah. A been there, heard that before factor is coming into play. She needs to bolster her Trump messaging with a new element to make sure voters keep paying attention to her. She's got to start talking about the issues on this thing. Because if you really look at it, I mean, Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina, what have you done? What has been the success story? Because everything that I mean, I guess positive that has been done, that's been done by Governor McMaster. And there aren't a lot of victories there. So how does Pamela Vett, number one, I think the first thing that she should do, if I were her campaign advisor, I'd be like, listen, it's going to be hard, but you're going to have to distance yourself from Henry McMaster. You're going to have to distance yourself from the Scout Motors deal. You're going to have to distance yourself from the Carolina Panthers training camp. You're going to have to distance yourself from all of that stuff. And you've got to go out and you've got to blaze your own trail. Forget telling us what was done. Tell us what you will do. And I don't think we've heard enough of that from her on the campaign trail. So now, and then you got to go back and you got to look at that pick. Alan Wilson's got Mike Rickenbaugh, highly qualified state senator, as his lieutenant governor. He picked Mike Rickenbaugh early in the race. We still don't know who Pam Avetta is going to pick. Why leave us hanging like that? Now, at first, we know what Donald Trump did. I mean, and Tara and I talked about it a little bit on the panel the other night, election night. I mean, I thought Donald Trump gave her a bit of a jab by announcing that Henry McMaster Jr. was going to be her running mate. That was not beneficial to Pamela Vett. Not at all. So then I was down in the Low Country this past weekend, and I heard from people down there that were like, you know what, she's looking at Gil Gatch. And then the next thing you know, Gil Gatch is all on Facebook talking about how wonderful Pamela Vett is. He was at a rally with her the other night. Gil Gatch has a freedom index of 19. 19. There are Democrats that have higher freedom index scores than Gil Gatch. Let's go to Esther in Powdersville. Esther, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I want to say, first of all, that with that Carmelo Anthony case,
Yeah.
that two young lives have been destroyed
Yeah.
because of something that never should have happened.
Yeah.
And one of my first thoughts was, where were the coaches and the supervisors that should have been in that tent with those young people?
Well, that was a track meet, and that tent was for the athletes to stay at. The coaches are out on the field. I mean, they're out there. They're making sure that everybody's getting to the meets that they need to get to. So I'm not going to put too much blame there. I mean, I used to, believe it or not, Esther, I was on the track team in high school, and that's just John's looking at me like, what? But that's just the way track meets are. I appreciate it. So, yes, I was on the track team in high school. I threw the discus, I threw the shot put, and my coach made me run. We had a 440 relay team of all the down linemen, the 2 guards and the 2 tackles. We ran the 440 relay, came in last every single race. They called it the hog relay, and I was the anchor. Lovely. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When Charlie's not teeing off on the left, he's teeing off on the links. You're in full swing on the Charlie James Show.
On News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Talked on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Well, President Trump said earlier today that he was going to bomb Iran tonight, and it was going to be a very heavy bombing. And then, wasn't long ago on Truth Social, that he said that a deal was made. Now, that's when things kind of went weird, because Iran said, wait a minute, we don't know anything about a deal. And even Israel said, we don't know anything about a deal. That's kind of unusual to me, isn't it? I mean, isn't it you? But this is what President Trump said in the White House. Let's take a listen to this.
The war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days. We'll probably have a signing maybe in Europe, and it's a great thing. Stock market's up 1,000 points. That means they like the deal. See, that means they like, if the market goes down, that means they don't like the deal. But it's been up, oil's dropped. Oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before. I said I was in Iowa. It was $1.85 a gallon. And I don't know if I'm going to get there, but we're going to get pretty close. It's going to come down, and when oil comes down, everything else comes down. And most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this. So it was a big, very big thing. But we have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape. So we'll see.
All right, we will see what happens with that, because, I mean, literally, I looked a few minutes ago, oil was down to $86 a barrel. Like the President said, the stock market really went up pretty quickly with that. So could be a signing by the weekend from the president. Now, Lindsey Graham, I'll guarantee you, if there's one guy that does not want a deal, it's Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham wants to storm Carg Island. That's what he wants. Lindsey Graham calls that the ultimate game changer. He said President Trump's announcement today that it may be time to take Carg Island is welcome news and would be the ultimate game changer, he said in a social media post. The combination of continuing to force the Strait open and at the same time controlling Carg Island's operations by force or blockade would be the most consequential move President Trump could make. Regaining the dominance. See, this is, people don't understand how Lindsey stabs. People don't understand how Lindsey does it. Because if you just read that, it's this would be the most consequential move President Trump could make. Regaining the dominance and leverage America needs to. Wait a minute, hold on, Lindsey. When have we never had dominance? We don't need to regain. This is what people don't get. Most people, 99. Yeah, John said, calm down. I get you. 99.9% of people reading that and hearing that wouldn't have thought anything about it. Oh yeah, something. We didn't lose dominance in Iran. Everything that was done over there was our choice. We have always been in control. President Trump, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, the Joint Chiefs, they have always been in control. They have been the one, not only that have been mastering the game, but they were deciding which game we were playing. So for Lindsey to say, I tell you again, when you know how people, words are, what did Rush Limbaugh say? Words mean things. So what Lindsey Graham was saying there was, we lost dominance in Iran. Amazing. At some point in the not-too-distant future, this is Lindsey Graham again, we will be taking Carg Island and other oil infrastructure points and assume total control of their oil and gas markets, which, much like we have in Venezuela. That was actually President Trump saying that. Well, may come sooner or may come in a different way. But hopefully we can get some sort of a deal worked out by the weekend. Wouldn't you like to go into the weekend and watch those gas prices fall, boy, I know I would. I know I would. So, guys, let me know. All right, if you want to vote in the poll this afternoon for the governor's runoff, Alan Wilson against Pamela Evett, text either Alan or Pam to 800-9050-989. That's Alan or Pam to 800-9050-989. And we'll give you the result. Well, let me give you some results right now. Just the next 5 seconds. Here we go. Where does it stand? Who are you voting for in the governor's? 95% still. Alan Wilson, 5%. Pamela Evett. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Tonda wanted to know where to vote in our poll here on the Charlie James Show. Here's what you do. You text. Now, this is between Pamela Vett and Alan Wilson. Just an informal poll to find out who you guys want to be the Republican nominee for the governor's race. If you would like Pamela Vett, text PAM, P-A-M, to 800-9050-989. If you would like Alan Wilson, text Alan, A-L-A-N, to 800-9050-989. Same numbers. The number's our text line. It's scrolling across the screen right there over on the stream. It's the text line. So let us know, either Pam or Alan. Let us know who you would like to be the next governor. Just taking a quick look. Let's do a little refresh here, see how we stand on this. It's still 95-5. Still 95-5. Let's go to Everett in Spartanburg. How you doing, Everett?
All right, Charlie, how you doing?
Good, man. What's up?
Two things. Alan Wilson, if he's so good, how come we got so much illegal immigration? And I've been fighting this no cash bond for over 2 years in the upstate. Hobart Lewis said they don't even arrest them. They take the vehicle and let them go. If you do that, you don't even have a record. You don't know how many they are here.
That's the thing. We don't. I've asked several of the candidates during our governor series, are we a sanctuary state? And it's looking like in some cases the answer to that is yes, because we don't have. Well, here's the thing. Here's what Alan Wilson wants to do. He wants to enact the 287G program, which would deputize every member of law enforcement to be ICE agents. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be pulling them off of their duties to go round up people, but if they come across somebody, you see, but here's the thing, Everett, that is the way the law reads. That's the way the law reads.
George, check it out. But he said one thing. He said he'd reach across the aisle. The only reason I'd reach across the aisle is to grab him up by the stack of swivel. Hey, they're nothing like us. They're nothing like us.
I don't know what I don't know what a sack of swivel is, but I can just picture it. Yeah, it's okay. Don't explain. Don't explain.
I just want to say one other thing. Well, the war in the Strait of Hormuz today in Google News, read Military Watch article. It'll tell you why we're losing in Iran. Thank you very much.
Well, we're not losing in Iran. Sorry
if you read that article,
I don't need to read somebody to. I mean, I got my own eyes there. I appreciate it, Everett. We're not losing. We're not losing. Stop that. That's anti-Trump. That's anti-American BS. We're not losing. We got more. We got more guns. We got more ammo. We got more of the big bombs than they've got. We're not losing. Sorry, we've been in control the entire time. 800-9050-989. We're getting a lot of people voting in this poll now. Listen to this. I mean, we've got, I didn't even know this. Do you know when I found this out? It was a couple of weeks ago when we found out that our Congress, our House of Representatives in Washington, they passed a bill. Are you ready for this? This is crazy. They passed a bill to defund the Taliban. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. What are you talking about? Defund the Taliban. So if our Congress passed a bill to defund the Taliban, what does that tell you has been going on for a while now? We've been funding the Taliban over in Afghanistan. Because of the abysmal, and who did that? Well, that was the Biden administration with that pullout of Afghanistan. We're now funding those people. But listen to this. This is from, I think it's Allison in the Know over at Lindell TV, talking to John Thune. Listen to this.
Leader Thune, the House passed Tim Burchett's bill to defund the Taliban. I think it was 11 months ago. Every week that goes by, they get another $40 million. When can the American people expect to see a vote on this, and do you expect it to pass?
I don't know when. We don't have that currently on the schedule here. And you said it's passed in the House?
Yes.
Okay, I have not seen it. If it's come over from the House, that's not something that we consider putting on.
Somebody they haven't even thought about it. We're sending $40 million a week to the Taliban. And I guess John Thune just doesn't think that's important. Good gracious. Wouldn't you like to see Tim Burchett in a bigger role? Yeah, I know I would. Let's go to Mike in Simpsonville. Mike, welcome.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Yes. What's up?
I actually logged into the website just to see what your mug looks like.
Well, what do you think? It's,
Well,
yeah, all I'm cracked
they're
up
not
to
quite
be
as
there.
pretty as me, but that's okay. But I'm a lot older too.
Okay.
Hey, you mentioned earlier that Lindsey Graham wants Trump to take Clark Island.
Yeah.
But Lindsey's problem is, besides the fact that he got reelected, is that neither he or Congress is passing any resolution to give Trump additional time beyond the War Powers Act to continue military operations in Iran.
Well, here's the thing, though, because Trump may have actually had pulled a little end around there. He actually stopped aggression before the 60 days was up. So he's got like another few months of eligibility left.
Well, you may be right. I don't know if the War Powers Act allows him to spread that 60 days out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he wasted part of it in negotiating, and Iran knew they were going to run the clock out. And so it's basically run out, and I think he's trying to maneuver to completely pull back, reset the clock, and be able to do another 60 days. But, you know, Congress ought to just pass a resolution and give him some more time.
Yeah, tell him to go. Do what needs to be done.
So right now it's strikes that are defensive trying to stay legal because Lord knows if the Dems take the House after the midterms, they're going to impeach him on Iran.
Oh, you are exactly right. And so many other things that they're just going to make up. You're right about that, Mike. I appreciate it. We'll take a quick break and be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When nasty weather strikes, stay in the know with the upstate's largest staff of meteorologists 24/7 on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
$630,000. That's how much Carmelo Anthony's family raised after he murdered Austin Metcalf. Stabbed this young man in the chest. And then was able to raise $630,000 for defense. Defense. Well, I guess defense means moving into a mansion and buying a brand new Escalade. $630,000 in support of his legal. Now, that was done through this website called Give, Send, Go. It's a fundraising app that was set up by Carmelo Anthony's mother, Kayla Hayes. Started it right at the time of her son's arrest. It's kind of like GoFundMe. However, there's a bit of a difference there that criminal cases can use the platform to fundraise. The fundraiser was supported to support pretrial needs, and those funds were dispersed over last year, said Give, Send, Go president. With the stated purpose completed, the fundraiser has been closed. The goal was to raise $1.4 million, with the bulk of the money going to use for Carmelo's legal defense. The family's fundraising page also noted that donations would be used for their own personal needs. $630,000. They moved into a mansion. They rented a mansion. Got himself a new Escalade. And then who did they hire? They went out and they hired a lawyer. I don't know if you've heard about this guy. This guy shook his girlfriend's baby so bad that he detached the kid's retinas. And he's still got his law license. Defending Carmelo Anthony. Well, Carmelo Anthony has filed an appeal. I don't think he's going to win it, but he's filed an appeal. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll reduce the sentence. Who knows? But I just saw the one young lady at a Carmelo Anthony rally. Is talking about he should have killed his brother too. And then you get people like Jasmine Crockett talking, it was just a little itty-bitty knife. It wasn't a deadly weapon. It was just a little itty-bitty knife. Well, apparently it was a deadly weapon because that is exactly what happened. Yeah, John said, I got a pin here. It's a deadly weapon. Yeah, it was a deadly weapon. It was used to be a deadly weapon. So they want you to think. This is what's getting me. They want you to think that Carmelo Anthony was the victim. The victim. These race hustlers out there, these professional grievance peddlers, this is a clear-cut case of violence and another opportunity to turn the perpetrator into the victim. Austin Metcalf was a standout athlete, twin brother to Hunter, died in Hunter's arms after Anthony plunged a $13 Walmart knife with a serrated blade into his chest. Free Carmelo. Branding the verdict racist. On social media, some celebrated Austin Metcalf's death. Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett in her podcast said that it was just that black women live in daily fear that the Metcalf family could never understand. Self-defense, my butt. Let's go to Vinny from Boiling Springs. How you doing, Vinny?
I'm doing well, Charlie. I
Good.
want a quick shout out to the Fondue for doing such a wonderful job over there on the runoff. We had a wonderful time, Charlie.
Good.
By all of you.
Good.
I got a little comment on this 650,000. Now, the attorneys that he has right now, is that by the state? Or is it one of these flipping followers that they've used before and they're getting a little bit of cut? Because typically attorneys get 60% or something like that, or 6,600% of the cut of what's being earned. So that tells me They owe him some money.
That guy's making plenty of money. He's not doing this pro bono. Everybody's in this to make money. Everybody on that side is in it to make money. Meanwhile, Austin Metcalf's family got swatted several times.
It's just like the guy that shot the guy in the back at the UCH.
Yeah.
They get the big bundle of money.
Yeah.
I'm glad this guy got the verdict that he did. The guy needs to be locked up. I don't care. I was 17 years old. I knew exactly what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
I wasn't being stupid. And then the lady even afterwards, have mercy on him. Well, you weren't shouting that before when it was self-defense.
Yeah.
I mean, all the witnesses that were there, it's outright murder. He stabbed him.
Yeah.
He was unarmed.
Yeah. But that's, you know what? That is what happens, and I appreciate it, Vinny. Carmelo Anthony was a victim. The only way he was a victim, number one, he was a victim of bad parenting, no parenting, and he was the victim of a culture that celebrates violence. That's how disagreements are handled, with violence, deadly violence. So if Carmelo Anthony is a victim of anything, those are the things that he's a victim of. But this guy knew what he was doing because he even went back to his coach and he was like, hey, I don't think I hurt him that bad. Really? You just plunged a knife into his chest. You murdered the kid. And now he wants some kind of sympathy. Sorry, you're not going to get it. You might get the little feigning sympathy from the race baiters out there like Jasmine Crockett and others. But notice a lot of people have been quiet about this because they know exactly what happened. They know that this was a clear-cut case of murder. 35 years? I don't think it's long enough. You should have got the maximum. 90. We need to start giving the maximum sentence for these things. And then maybe people will start thinking twice before handling situations like this. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie tells it like it is, whether they like it or not. You're locked into the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, update on the poll that we're taking for the governor's runoff race. Alan Wilson, 95%. Pamela Vett is at 5%. If you would like to participate in the poll, you text either Pam or Alan for Pamela Vett or Alan Wilson to 800-905-0989. This is going to be up for probably the next little under an hour and a half now. I'll give you the final results when we get to the end of the show tonight. But John, somebody said, Charlie, why don't you run for governor? Man, y'all want me to take a pay cut? That would be a sacrifice. That would have to be a sacrifice right there. But I tell you what, I would be a good governor. Man, I'd give those rhinos hell. I would be on that TV every single day. I'd tell everybody, every television station, you have a reporter here every day, you have a camera here every day, you have a microphone here every day. Radio, same for you. You get here because we're going to talk about what's going on in South Carolina. I'd be a good governor. My wife, could you imagine my beautiful bride being the first lady of South Carolina? Oh, she'd be a good one. And then, of course, Artie and Sophie would be the first pups. They would have to, whenever we went somewhere, they'd have to have their own handlers. So I'm telling you, things are going to stack up. Money's going to stack up. So anyway, I am quite happy doing what I am doing right now. WORD Talk Line 800-9050-989. There has been, and none of this has changed over the past couple of hours when I first saw it, but apparently an anonymous tip has claimed that Nancy Guthrie's grave was found in Mexico. Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother, remember she went missing, months ago now. There are reports that a tipster has said that a grave has been found in Mexico, and there's a massive search going on right now. If anything happens with that, we'll certainly give that to you. Well, we know one thing is for sure. Climate change is a hoax. They've been hoaxing us on this in order to get money from you and everybody else. I mean, come on, Al Gore became a multi-millionaire off of the whole global warming BS. And now the United Nations is endorsing a world court ruling claiming that everyone must fight climate change. In one of the most consequential developments yet for the global climate movement, the UN General Assembly voted to formally endorse and operationalize a ruling by the International Court of Justice declaring that governments have a legal obligation to combat climate change. Supporters hailed the move as a historic victory for climate justice. Critics blasted it as a brazen assault on national sovereignty, self-government, affordable energy, and constitutional governance. The major U.S. UN move came even as U.S. President Donald Trump and his administration were stepping up the war on the climate change machine, but the U.S. government's vigorous opposition was not enough to stop the UN's power grab. It was not so much a power grab, it's a money grab. That's all it is. It's an absolute hoax. You guys know it. You guys know it. There's been no, I mean, if there was climate change. Now, the climate changes all the time. Almost every single day. But they're trying to make money off of it. My wife and I were down in Charleston this weekend. Went by the Battery. They raised the seawall there because of climate change. BS. In fact, there is evidence now that it might not be climate change that we need to worry about. According to a report in the New Scientist, new evidence is mounting that the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, that's a huge system of deep-sea currents that acts like a conveyor belt for the world's oceans, known as AMOC, that's starting to slow its gears. And as it does, cold waters from the Greenland ice sheet are allowed to pool in the North Atlantic, creating a cold blob that's only getting colder. This has a major impact on the jet stream, fueling extreme weather across the world. Should that little system collapse, the New Scientist notes that AMOC could act as a climate tipping point, setting off a chain reaction resulting in much colder weather for some, much drier weather for others. And, of course, they put this out to about 2040. But, folks, I would guarantee you one thing. You got to understand this. We would rather have a warm Earth than a cold one. Did you know the Sahara Desert is shrinking? Shrinking. Why? Carbon dioxide. Plants love it. They need it. They thrive on it. So they grow and they get bigger and they get taller and they get healthier and they take up more real estate. Crops grow better in warm weather than cold. I mean, look, just take a look at your yard. Have you noticed? How many times have you legitimately cut your yard? I mean, we are June the 11th. How many times have you cut your yard this year? Have you really had to all that much? No. Why? Because it's been cool. The soil temperatures have not allowed the massive root development that usually happens this year. It was just a way to make money. And they turned it into a religion. I remember that one couple that moved to, where did they move to? I can't remember. They moved because they were looking for people that felt this. I think they moved to Maine, and I bet they voted for Plattner. They moved to Maine because they wanted to be surrounded by people who were as environmentally conscious as they are. So I think they moved someplace like Seattle or Portland. In fact, it's all just a scam. It's a hoax. They fudge these numbers. In fact, every one of these climate models that they have put out was based on one thing: the worst case scenario. We haven't even gotten close to the worst case scenario. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Eyewitnesses wanted. When you see news, email news@989WORD.com.
One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the phones and talk to Richard from Dallas. How you doing, Richard?
Hey, Charlie, I'm good. How about yourself,
I'm
man?
really good, man. What's up?
I hope this weather right now is not an indication of what's coming. But what I want to talk about was this. You said we need to fight, or somebody said we need to fight global warming.
They need to fight for, they need to fight, to fight global warming. That's what the UN said, yes.
To prevent it.
Yes, exactly.
Well, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I own a couple of cows, and next sale I'm going to go buy all the cattle I can, and then I'm going to go to my feed dealer and ask him what kind of feed I can feed them where they'll fart more.
All right.
That's what
More global warming. Let's increase it. Make it warmer.
Well, I mean, that's my rebellion against it. I don't
There
believe
you go. There you go.
No, I don't believe it.
All right, Richard, I appreciate it. That's a good idea. Let's, I don't know, the cows eat beans? I have no idea. So anyway, they're fighting all that stuff. That's pretty funny. All right, WRD Talk Line, 800-905-0989. Charlie, my mom and dad used to cut the grass so short, I tried to tell them. My dad would say we cut it short down here in the South. They'd spend all summer trying to get it lush. Never happened. Expensive, too. They should have listened to the expert. Well, it all depends on what kind of grass you got now. Now, I found Bermuda. It loves to be cut short. Same with zoysia. Some other varieties like to be a little bit longer. You can get up to 2-3 inches and be fine. But Bermuda thrives at about 1.5 inches. Actually, it'll thrive lower than that. But if you've got a rotary mower, it's hard. It's hard with all the little bumps and stuff. Now, you got a real mower, you can get it way down there, but REEL mower. But I've got a rotary, so there you go. Somebody wanted to know if I got my new phone today. Actually got it last night. Had a horrible mishap yesterday at the golf course when I fell in the pond. I fell in the pond. The phone fell in the pond. The golf clubs fell in the pond. My electric golf cart fell in the pond. Everything fell in the pond. I was neck deep, literally neck deep in the pond. I did go swimming, John. I did. I was out there just splashing around. But then I started thinking last night because there was something that I didn't notice with all the excitement going on when I fell in the pond. I want to know. Between the three guys, me and the three guys I was playing with, Howard, Phil, and Tom, were you guys laughing? Were you? I know I'm going to ask them this question. Were you guys helping, or were you laughing? Laughing with me? Because so, and I have to admit, I'd probably be laughing. I just tell you. So it's funny after the fact, but man, I tell you what, I bet I had 5 gallons of water. No joke either, in my golf bag. I bet I had 5 gallons. Maybe not, maybe 3, but it was a lot of water. A lot of water in that golf bag. So, yeah, not going to be doing that again anytime soon. All right, WRD Talk Line 800-9050-989. We've got the poll going on right now for governors. Of course, this is an unscientific, unofficial poll. Not a whole lot's changed here. In the percentage-wise, we've got 95% for Alan Wilson, 5% for Pamela Evatt. If you would like to participate, you text either Alan or Pam to 800-9050-989. And we'll record your vote there. A lot of people out there voting for Alan Wilson. Let's see. Charlie, it looks like they found 25 graves on the border of Mexico, just inside Mexico, but it doesn't appear that any of them are connected to Nancy Guthrie. I'm still investigating, so thank you very much. There was reports that a tipster said that Nancy Guthrie was buried in a grave in Mexico, and there's apparently a massive search going on right now. So we'll give you the details up to that. Also coming up in just a few minutes, there was supposed to be a big bombing in Iran tonight, but President Trump has called that off because he said we could have a deal in the works. That would certainly be a good thing to have. Again, WRD talk line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line if you'd like to send us a text this afternoon. So there you go. Getting ready for the weekend. I know that. Tomorrow's going to be Friday, and I am really, really looking forward to it. What else are we going to do? Oh, yeah, there's also a poll out. There's an official poll, so to speak, about the governor's race. We'll give you some of the details on that and what these candidates need to do to appeal to the people that did not vote for them the first time around. We'll talk about that coming up. Well, let's go to Beverly in Greenville and talk to her. Beverly, welcome.
Hi, Charlie. How
Hello.
are you doing?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
I just heard your story, and I have to know, where did that happen?
Carolina Springs Golf Club on the 10th hole. There are two ponds there, one on the right, one on the left. There's a walkway in between. With all of the rain that we had, the water was covering the walkway, but it was just a couple of inches. So I set my electric golf cart to go ahead of me. I was following behind. I had waterproof shoes on, so that wasn't a problem. All of a sudden, my cart took a hard turn to the left. I took a hard turn to the left, and there was nothing to stand on the left side of the walkway because I couldn't see it, and I just went right in the water.
I'm so sorry. I'm a golfer, so I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I did not. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought that would happen to me, just so you know. That's the thing that would happen to me. And also, I just want to tell you, I'm Lily's mom.
Oh, are you Lily's mom? We love Lily. We love her. Beverly. I know, right? Thank you so much for calling, Beverly. I appreciate it. Can't wait to see your daughter again. Thank you. You have a lovely evening. That's Lily out at Select Restaurant. That's her mom. That is so cool. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Get breaking news sent straight to your phone for free. Download the Odyssey app. Follow News Talk 98.9 WORD. Stay in the know with the voice of the Carolinas.
What this summer will bring. A normal summer.
People want to get back to those outdoor activities.
Means we can expect normal summer weather, too.
Storms are rapidly developing.
When severe weather hits, count on
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
the Carolinas Severe Weather Station.
Do you have a question about your home? Y'all call Wally.
Welcome to Y'all Call Wally with Waldrop Plumbing, Air, and Electric's Wally the Walrus. Let's go to our first caller. How can we help you, Steve?
Yeah, Wally, how do I know if my AC is making cold air like it used to?
Well, when you hold your hand in front of it, is it cold?
I mean, cold-ish.
Cold-ish is not what we're going for.
I'm no expert, but I think it used to feel colder than this. If it's gonna be stinking hot, I need to know if my AC can keep up.
Then you should call us for a same-day inspection. Our technicians will do a thorough assessment with professional tools and gauges, but the average homeowner is surprisingly good at feeling that something isn't right.
Not that you're an average homeowner there, Steve. As a regular listener, I'm sure you're definitely above average.
No offense taken, Dan. My wife and I actually have 2.3 children, so...
2 point... join us again next time, folks, on...
Y'all call Wally.
.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
News Talk 98.9
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
WYRD FM.
WYRD HD1. Spartanburg.
Greenville.
Anderson. Clemson.
From the Carolinas 24/7 News Center.
15 minutes of nonstop breaking news and stimulating talk.
Begins now on News Talk 98.9.
98.9.
WORD. Here's this hour's big story.
Now, News News Talk 98.9.
WORD Business News.
Honda is recalling more than 880,000 vehicles. Lisa Dwyer reports the notice warns of a manufacturing defect that could cause rear suspension components to fail
and cause drivers to lose control of the vehicle. The recall covers some 2016 to 2022 Honda Pilots, 2017 to 2023 Ridgelines, 2019 to 2023 Passports, and 2014 to 2020 Acura MDX vehicles. Honda and Acura dealers will inspect the rear subframe and install a reinforcement kit or will repair or replace the rear subframe components at no cost to vehicle owners. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
For recall notices for any vehicle made in the U.S., visit the National Highway Safety Administration's website. I'm Stacy Bartrow, and that's your News Talk 98.9 WORD Business News.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Down in the Low Country, they've also got a runoff election between Jenny Costa Honeycutt and Mark Smith. All right, listen. Jenny Costa Honeycutt, and by the way, she demands that you call her Jenny Costa Honeycutt. This is a woman that when a tough vote comes up on county council, she leaves the room. Oh, I'm sorry, I got to go to the bathroom. And then she'll leave and come back when the vote's over. I hope this woman loses to Mark Smith down in the Low Country. I really do. She just put out an ad. You want to talk about tone deaf, absolute tone deaf ad this woman put out. In this ad, she's out on her big old center console boat doing some shrimping in the backwater. Show her at her her parents, I guess, multi-million-dollar mansion. Stonework around the pool, right there on one of the creeks in the Low Country. Then there's her surfing. Let me tell you what, I can't relate to any of that. I hope Mark Smith wins that thing. Oh my goodness, I really do. That woman, no, she is in it she's in it just to be in it. And I just be honest with you. She's just in it to be in it. That is the most tone-deaf ad that I've ever seen in my life. It really is bad. I mean, I could not imagine standing there at the gas pump, watching those dollars go up. Oh, my goodness. And then seeing that ad from Jenny Costa Honeycutt. Oh, brother. No. And I tell you what, it's all about an ego trip for so many of these people. It's just a big ego trip. It's pretty amazing. It really is. All right. Well, speaking of ego trips, you've got Graham Plattner. This is a guy I want you to listen to what he said. Listen to what he said about Republicans.
Has your campaign been working to figure out what an opposition file with any additional allegations might have in it? Do you know that on your end? Have you thought about it?
Oh, I've thought about it extensively. I mean, here's the thing. I've lived my life. I was there the whole time. Much of the allegations that have come out as of late are literally just lies. And so, I don't really, they've already gotten to the point where they're moving into just making things up. And if we're already there, I don't know what else they're going to make up, because I don't know what's going around in the very weird minds of Republican operatives.
Yes, our minds are weird. The Republicans are weird. This is a guy, remember, he's got the Toten cough tattoo. There's a new story in the New York Post. I mean, this is just like brand new story in the New York Post. According to one of the women that he dated, because remember, Graham Plattner did not cover up the Toten cough tattoo until it became an issue in the election. He proudly wore that thing. He said that he wore it to remind himself and others that the U.S. were the evil bad guys overseas. That's what he thinks about this country. That we're the bad guys. So Susan Collins, you got a fight on your hands. But I think we're going to get more and more and more coming out. But they are defending him. These people are defending him like nobody's business. I want you to listen to this. This is from MSNBC. Hold on just a second. Let me get this for you here. This is from MSNBC. Here we go. Well, wait a minute. Where is it? Here we go. Doggone it. Here we go.
What they may or may not be willing to overlook. The accusations against Graham Plattner are not classic Me Too accusations.
Okay, they're not classic Me Too accusations. Just because Graham Plattner was a bad boyfriend doesn't mean these are Me Too, although that's exactly what it means, right?
They're not about a boss and a young female employee being subjected to sexual advances. They were mostly made in the context of consensual relationships. There are these very sensational texts about sex. There are allegations from former girlfriends that are not, the way my colleagues reported them, were not like classic abuse allegations. They were mostly like, being his boyfriend gave me a view into him and I did not like what I saw. His character was scary. He had this Nazi tattoo, etc. There was one allegation of crossing a line.
Just one allegation of crossing the line. Now, that woman was Jodi Kantor. Jodi Kantor was like one of the lead people in the whole Me Too movement. Me Too, unless it's a Democrat running in Maine, then it's okay. Man, the hypocrisy of those people is absolutely astounding. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Joey Hudson here. Start your day early on Sunrise, Carolina. Tomorrow morning at 5 on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
The Mike Gallagher Show. He's your happy conservative warrior.
Eric Swalwell and his political collapse. His defense is that it's all politically motivated. But gosh, he ticked off the wrong people, and those people decided they were going to do him in. And how does he hold on to his congressional seat?
Breaking news and what to make of it. Don't miss the next Mike Gallagher Show.
Weekdays at 10, right after Tara, on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This message is brought to you by Bimini's Oyster Bar, 100 Villa Road, Greenville. You don't have to go to the ocean to eat great seafood. Think Bimini's. That's right, Bimini's Oyster Bar and Seafood Cafe. Bimini's is open 7 days a week. Located at 100 Villa Road, just off Haywood and Pelham, under the red and white beach ball, the water tower.
Injured? Just call Joy Law Firm, 864-888-8888.
Hey, it's Charlie James for my friends at Rebath. Why are you still dealing with that bathroom? You know, the one outdated tile, the old tub nobody uses, maybe a shower that just feels tired. And every day you say, yeah, I need to do something about that. But you don't, because remodeling sounds like a nightmare. That's where Rebath comes in. They've figured this out. One company, one team, they handle the whole thing. Design, materials, installation, no running around trying to coordinate 5 different contractors. They come to your home, sit down with you, and help you design exactly what you want. And it doesn't have to blow up your budget. And here's the kicker. A lot of these projects get done in just a few days. Not weeks, not months, days. So if you've been putting this off, stop. Get a free in-home consultation. See what your bathroom could look like, and finally check this off of your list. Right now, they're offering $1,500 off a complete bathroom remodel and $750 off a tub shower update. Schedule your free in-home design consultation and estimate. Go to Rebath.com.
Spring in the Carolinas means warmer weather, but it also means strong storms, high winds, and damaging hail. If you think your roof may have taken a hit, let the experts at Alcon Roofing take a look. We provide free roof inspections, no pressure sales, and highly trained technicians with over 75 years of combined experience. Call Alcon Roofing today at 864-867-2533 or visit alconroofing.com. Alcon Roofing. We protect what matters most, your family.
For our contest rules, visit the contest rules page at 989WORD.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap GoodRx, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right. Well, we do have our poll. It's still up. A lot of people participating in it right now. Pamela Evitt is at 5%. Alan Wilson is at 95%. If you would like to participate, text either Pam or Alan. That's Pam or Alan, ALAN. You know how to spell Pam. To 800-9050-989. Just give us a little feel of how the audience here feels about who they would love to see win this governor's runoff race that is going to be on the 23rd. Early voting is going to be the 16th and I'm sorry, I keep doing that. Early voting is going to be next week on Wednesday and Thursday. That is the 17th and the 18th. The 17th and 18th of next week. That's when early voting starts, so just be aware of that. Would you like to see Alan Wilson? Would you like to see Pamela Evitt? That's what I would like to know. Let's just take a little quick look at where we are right now. I think it's about Pam Evitt making a bit of a move here. Now it's 94% Alan Wilson, 6% Pamela Evitt, so that's interesting. Well, there was another poll that was taken, and this is kind of strange, okay? So just bear with me on this. This poll was actually taken by an outfit called Opinion Diagnostics, and I believe they did this poll on the 1st and the 2nd. The 1st and the 2nd. So they showed that Alan Wilson is leading Pamela Evitt. Yep, June 1st and the 2nd. Alan Wilson, 48.3% of the GOP primary voters. And Pamela Evitt got 29.3. I would like to go see, let me just see about this. Robert Cahaly. Now this is pretty darn, this is pretty good. Cahaly basically nailed it. I mean, over at Trafalgar, he's got all of his act together over there. They had 1,200 respondents. He had Pamela Evitt at 22.4% and Alan Wilson at 20.7%. Ron Reddy coming in at 17.5%, and Ralph Norman coming in at 15.9%. Ralph Norman and Ron Reddy actually flipped. Those races kind of flipped with the totals there, but Cahaly had it right. But that poll was taken, and I don't really remember the date of the Trump endorsement for Pamela Evitt. I don't know if this was before or after or during that time, but according to one poll, and I'm pretty sure there are pollsters out there that are good. I don't know if this is one of those things. I'm pretty sure somebody's doing some polling, but I don't think at this point it's one of those, oh my gosh, we got to get out a new poll sort of a situation. So maybe over the next couple of days, I would almost guarantee that Pamela Evitt is going to be looking at getting some polling done. Alan Wilson, probably the same thing. So maybe we'll have something over the next couple of days. But this is going to be an interesting race because there's a very good chance, whoever wins this race is going to be there for 8 years. And that's a long time. Now, we know who Alan Wilson's running mate is and Mike Rickenbaugh. We do not know who Pamela Evitt's running mate is. I wish we could have that. I really do. I wish you should be required, since we're doing running mates now, we're not, because we used to just vote for governor and we used to vote for lieutenant governor in two separate races. So that led to some cases where the lieutenant governor and the governor not exactly getting along. Famous for that was Mark Sanford and Andre Bauer. Mark Sanford did not like Andre Bauer. Andre Bauer wasn't all that crazy about Mark Sanford. So I believe if we're going to run as a ticket, we need to know who the ticket is before we go out there and vote. Is this because right now at this point, and a texter made a really good point about this earlier. Right now, it seems like this selection is being hidden from us. Why is that? Was it going to be the big Henry McMaster announcement that Donald Trump spoiled and everybody said, no, we don't want that guy. We don't want a McMaster dynasty. Is it going to be, like I heard this past weekend down in the Low Country, is it going to be somebody like Gil Gatch, who does not like Alan Wilson, not one little bit. But Gil Gatch has a Freedom Index score of 19. Is that who we want as lieutenant governor? Yes, I understand. It's mostly a ceremonial position, but still, if something does happen to the governor, he would or she would step into that role. So I think we should know. I just quite simply think we should know who we're going to be voting for. And right now, we don't. Let's see. Charlie, I think you meant Rahm. I voted for Rahm, but I'm going to vote for Alan Wilson because it's like Obama said, it's time for a change. Charlie, how many votes do you have so far? I am curious. Well, that's a good thing to be curious about. Let's take a quick look here. Who are you voting for? Right now, we have a total of 388 votes. 388 votes over the past few hours. So that's a pretty good turnout. I kind of like that. So anyway, if you would like to participate in the poll, please do. We did get word today. Early this morning, the president told us that he was going to start bombing Iran pretty heavily overnight. That changed because the president said there was some movement in the negotiations, and he is basically saying right now that we've got a deal. Now, what the deal is, don't know. No idea. But Laura Loomer is saying, and I think she's kind of right, when she says that, we're kind of burning out on this thing right now. Kind of burning out on it. So we'll see what happens with this. Hopefully we will have a deal. Hopefully we will, because oil prices went down. They dropped down to about $86. In fact, at one point, it was like $85.50 a barrel. Stock market, that went sky high today. So just imagine what could happen if we could get this over with pretty quickly. Hopefully that can happen. All right, folks, WRD Talk Line, 800-9050-989. We'll take a quick break and be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9, WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
He's got a mic, a mission, and no time for nonsense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. From the Ingalls Market Studio. Hey, Powdersville, Pendleton, Simpsonville, and Greer. We've got you covered.
This is News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Salesforce is making a big financial commitment to developing artificial intelligence in France. The $2 billion investment includes launching a new AI innovation hub in Paris, as well as expanding support for AI education and workforce training. Salesforce CEO and Chair Mark Benioff calls France one of the world's great centers for AI innovation, thanks to a strong research ecosystem and entrepreneurial talent. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Michael's Flooring and Cabinets is your local source for flooring and cabinetry brands. Take your pick of in-stock designer carpet, hardwood, LVP, and custom area rug flooring options. No wait and no shipping costs. We offer free measurements and in-house installation services. Shop local, shop designer, and shop convenience with Michael's Flooring and Cabinets. Visit michaelsgreenville.com or visit our huge 30,000-foot showroom to schedule your free measurement today.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Tap and type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
There was a woman that posted something online the other day that said, and I kind of had to chuckle, this said, Donald Trump is doing away with the Department of Education. Are you telling me that you people, did you Trump supporters vote for this? And everybody was on there like, yep, absolutely, we did. Yep, that's exactly what we voted for. Exactly. Yep, don't have a problem with it. The Department of Education has been an absolute disaster since it was started by Carter. Absolute disaster. Because here's the thing. They do not do anything. And I was amazed when I talked with, remember Jennifer Grantham? She was Joe Biden's energy secretary. Remember her? I was asking her during Hurricane Helene, we had her on the show, and I was like, because we had all of these energy companies coming in, helping out the people in Western North Carolina, people here in the upstate of South Carolina, just all up and down the path of Helene, all of these bucket trucks from the power companies that were coming in. And I said, how much does the Department of Energy, what kind of a role do they play in facilitating all of this? And Jennifer Grantham said, we don't do that. That's not what we do. Well, what our job is, and I was sitting there just going, you got to be kidding me. She said, what our job is to make policy regarding energy. And that's when everything really kind of fell in. All the pieces of the puzzle were put together for me. The Department of Energy is the same as the Department of Education. The Department of Energy really doesn't have anything to do with the production of energy. They just make policy around the production and the use of energy and the transmission of energy. That's all they do is they make policy. They're just one big bureaucracy. The Department of Education is exactly the same way. They don't help students learn. They just come up with policies regarding how the kids are taught. And they take most of that from the teachers' unions. And we know what they're like. So, yeah, the Department of Education does not educate children. It should be handled in state, in every single state. States should take care of their own education. We have got college students, we've got students that made it to college that cannot read. In a new essay from the Chronicle Higher Education, university-level literature and writing instructor Tyler Jagd recalls how not a single one of his students could get through an assigned 20-page article, something that he had read without complaint as an undergraduate a decade ago. One student confessed that the reason they couldn't finish was that they kept losing track of what the paper was about. And that student was probably not alone. So JAG cites the 2024 National Assessment of Educational Progress Reading Assessments results released last year. It showed that the 12th grade reading scores were the lowest level since the assignment began in 1992. Nearly a third of 12th graders scored below the assessment's basic level in reading, meaning they likely cannot draw a general conclusion based on concepts presented explicitly in a text. And young children are much better off. A recent report from Annie E. Casey Foundation found that 70% of fourth graders, or around 2 million kids, cannot read at proficient levels. He said, what I am seeing in my classrooms is no longer a hunch. There is a measurable generational collapse in sustained reading and writing, and the Academy is responding to it with improvisation and exhaustion rather than the structural overhaul that it requires. Students arrive unable to read. That is a common complaint from college-level educators. Many students treat AI as a genuine learning tool, but it's actually detrimental to learning. They're using it to write essays, to solve math problems, or in a word, to cheat. Many universities have partnered with tech companies to provide students with access to their shiny new AI models, and that's only served to rubber stamp and accelerate the tech's adoption in the classrooms, marooning individual instructors to figure out how to work around AI on their own. This is from Futurism.com. And that's what's happening. You see why trade schools are so important? Because let me tell you, I will guarantee you, you find your average welding student, I guarantee you they'll be able to read. I guarantee you find a pipe fitter, a student, somebody that's going to tech school for pipe fitting. I'll bet you they're able to read. want you to listen to this. And I don't know who went out, but they went out. They tried to find some college students, and they wanted them to read a simple sentence. And the sentence is, the beneficiary tried to embellish the extortion scheme. That is the sentence. Listen to these UCLA students.
The beneficiary tried to ambush the extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I don't even know. I can't say that. Tried to ambush the extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I have no idea. But here I am, a student at the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA, cannot read a simple sentence. They were having to sound it out. The beneficiary tried to embellish the extortion scheme. I'm amazed they got the word scheme right. But that's where the education system is today. And that's in this country, everybody, we're doomed. We're literally doomed. If you're a parent, sit down with your kids. Please sit down with your kids and say, hey, can you read this sentence and tell me what it means, please? And if they can't, you need to do something about that. Because the people that can read that stuff, they're our future. These kids, no, they're going to be way left behind. Let's go to Matthew from Hendersonville. How you doing, Matthew?
Good, Charlie. I hear you talking about these 12th grade students that don't even know how to read hardly, and it breaks my heart because my children, I have 3 children. My oldest one is 9, and then down to 3. And they go to a Christian school that's part of our church. But my 9-year-old son, knew how to read like a book when he was 5.
Wow.
I mean, but the whole school, children his age are scoring at post high school level. And
that's nice.
Yeah. So, that's, to me, that's the biggest solution, and putting God back in schools, first of all.
Yeah.
But their school, it is smaller, but they have a lot of one-on-one attention, and the teachers, obviously, being a Christian school, they care about the students.
Yeah.
That makes a world of difference.
It sure does. You're exactly right, Matthew. That's I'd love to hear that about you, and I appreciate it, buddy. And you get all these people that you homeschool your kids. Oh, you homeschool. Oh, they're not going to be so. Let me tell you what, those kids can read. Those homeschool kids can read. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is the Charlie James Show. The right talk. Now more than ever. On News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Lows level off around 73. Tonight, under clear skies, winds out of the southwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear. Tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 95. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Right now, 90.
A lot can happen in a day.
This is 250. It's the birthday of our country.
Miss an hour?
I love this country. I raised that flag high, and I'm proud. And who throws a better party than Trump?
Miss a lot?
Had officers bit, hit, scratched. We had one get threatened. They were going to kill him and his family. That's peaceful.
Stay up to the minutes.
This is domestic terrorism. They're using threats, intimidation, and violence to reach their political ideology.
News Talk 98.9.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 47. This bill, as amended, is passed.
News Talk 98.9
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case costs. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
Joe Sandifer, Esquire. 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
Hi, this is Charles Dolly with Dolly's Roofing. We're a locally owned roofing company helping families here in the upstate. We're committed to assisting you in any way, from repairing storm damage to working with your insurance company to get the most for your claim. We offer free estimates, the best labor installation warranty, and we only use top-rated products. That's the Dolly difference. Quality without compromise. Call 882-1555 or visit us at dollysroofing.com.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing believes you deserve punctual service day or night. They're always on time, ready to solve your plumbing issues. If you need emergency repairs on weekends or evenings, there's never overtime charges. Benjamin Franklin, the punctual plumber, nationally known, locally grown. Recharge your body with IV drip therapy at Superior Health and Wellness. Unlike pills, IV hydration delivers vitamins straight into your system, boosting energy in just minutes. Most insurance covers it, so it may cost as little as your copay. 2 locations, Greenville and Spartanburg. Visit superiorhealthcaresc.com today.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
You've heard the term hedging your bets is where hedge fund comes from. That is essentially what a Common Sense Retirement Roadmap's designed to do, and we can build one for you. Go to 235-2790 or csrp.info for an appointment. Common sense is what defines us.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the phones and talk to Chuck from Mills River. How you doing, Chuck?
Man, I'm hanging out like a hare in a biscuit, you know.
All right.
Wanted to just chime in on these kids not being able to read and
Isn't
stuff.
that ridiculous?
We started off our son reading the Bible before he could speak.
There you go.
Just point. No, I mean, seriously, people don't understand. I had one lady said, "Oh, we started our son. And we put closed captions on the TV." I was like, I wanted to slap her. But trade schools, wave of the future, man, because we don't have. I'm telling you right now, we don't have the technicians, the mechanics, the plumbers, the tradesmen in general. And you can bet your sweet, you know what, that a plumber can and a carpenter can read a tape measure. They know their math.
Yeah,
they can read.
Yeah.
I guess the lesbian dance theory people can also count and a 1 and a 2 and a 1.
So. All right, where'd you go, Chuck? Did somebody put you? What did you? I think. Wait, hold on. No, there you go. You're back. There you go.
You shoot me down, Charles.
I did not. I did not touch a single button in here. I did not. That was not me. That might have been John with the fat finger, but it wasn't me.
But people read the Bible to your little children. Read the Bible. It doesn't matter if they know what's going on. They do. People can say the little babies are. They don't know what's going on. They know more than, it's just like kids. they listen to more than you think they do.
That's
They
where
hear
the
more.
brain is working the hardest
Absolutely. And
in
you
those
point
formative
out,
years.
You point out the Bible. You point what you're reading to that little child, that little baby. Sit there. Number one, it's good for you.
Yeah.
It's good for those around you. And your son or daughter looks and sees that book, that one book, the book, the Lord's
Yeah.
Word, and sees how much it means to you that you would read it to them. And that's something they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just really wanted to, just all about I had to say.
Well, I appreciate it,
And
Chuck. Thank you very
care.
much.
We'll
Yep.
see you.
Appreciate it. Let's go to Roger in Taylor's. Roger, what's going on with you, man?
How you doing, Mr. Charlie?
I'm doing great. What's up?
I'm a Clemson fan, so I can count to at least 4.
Oh, that's good. Perfect.
You know our chant 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's right.
Yeah. We go to 4. Listen, I just voted in y'all's poll. Both of these people for governor are insiders. I'll vote for Wilson before Evan, and the reason why, and I'm sure Wilson does it too, is Pamela is going to endorse anybody that is running. You can have a great candidate that's running against somebody that's in the state house or in the Senate.
Right,
She's
right.
going to endorse the insider, and we need less of that. We need good candidates, and she'll probably endorse people that are running against the Freedom Caucus candidates.
Yep.
She's going to be
Yeah.
establishment.
Yeah,
And I think
especially
she's
because
gonna
in
be
2
good.
years we're going to have those Senate races coming up.
Yeah, and I think she's more establishment, even though she hasn't been there as long than Wilson is.
Yeah,
And
maybe so.
I'll vote for Wilson. And what is it, Greenfinch?
Goldfinch, yeah, Goldfinch.
Goldfinch. No, he's a big no. He's going to go after Curtis Loftus,
Yeah.
like Obama's DOJ went after Republicans.
Yeah, yeah.
He is a big no for me.
Yeah, even
They
even
won't get
even
money.
David Pascoe today said that he's going to vote for David Stumbo over Goldfinch.
Yeah, and I voted for Pascoe because I want corruption cleaned up.
Right.
And to me, you're not going to get it from an insider, but yeah, Curtis
To
Loftus,
me-
I believe, is a good man.
I do too. I do too. But to me, Goldfinch was picked to run in this race to protect the corruption. That's just my theory, but that's the feeling that I've gotten ever since I heard he was getting in the race.
Well, I won't vote for him. I'll vote for Stumbo.
Yeah, that's who I voted for in the primaries, and that's who I'm going to vote for in the runoffs. I appreciate it, Roger. Thank you very much. All right, we had 398 votes tonight. 91% said Alan Wilson. 9% said Pamela Avett. The runoffs are going to be, I want to make sure I read this to you, on the 23rd. Early voting is going to be on the 17th and the 18th of next week. So get ready to get out there. If you need to early vote, go ahead and do that. Check with SC Votes if you need an absentee ballot for this, but the runoff election is going to come up on the 23rd. And with that, we're going to say, y'all have a wonderful evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow when, it'll be Friday. As always, we love you. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.